It's time for Talk of Muskegon on News Talk 1090 WKBZ, the Talk of Muskegon.
Well, there we go. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's Talk of Muskegon, and we have not the Brew Crew, but the new crew, soon to be the old crew. This is Jim Riley here. We've got
He thought of that for
Mike
a while.
Hewitt.
He sat up last night thinking of that.
Yes, I did.
I bet he practiced it.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And I did. I've got my little fake
crew.
microphone at home, and I practiced that.
And
Looking at the mirror.
You'd think with all that practice
Totally
it would have been
naked.
smoother, but nah.
Well, it would have been smoother if I wasn't interrupted.
Sorry.
Oh, Hey, but John Van Wyck and Brian Worsham will be back tomorrow. So all of you who've been holding your various and assorted breaths
And I'll sleep
for
then.
real professionals. They, except for Oscar, of course, he's our professional here.
Yeah.
But they'll be back. One from killing little innocent birds, and the other one from probably
tub with
tormenting
Dwight.
innocent young women in a hot tub. But they will be back. Hey, today, guys, the vernal equinox, and those of you who are old enough to remember Vern from the ABC Warehouse ads? Mm-hmm. Vern.
Yeah.
I think that this entire equinox was named after him. I could be wrong on that. But happy autumn. Autumn begins today for half of the world. Everybody in the southern hemisphere can start celebrating autumn, while we up here just about almost exactly an hour ago, spring began. And if you look out the window, you might be shocked at spring being here, but in fact it is.
Not looking very springy, Jim.
Are you feeling vernal?
It's good, pretty doggone cold out there.
It is pretty doggone cold. It's 23 degrees out there, as a matter of fact.
And did you listen to the weather report? It said cold, and then the day after be cold, and the day after that cold.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
no,
going to
80
get
degree weather. It's still going to be like 40, though, coming up here shortly.
Well, I'm looking at my week, the week-long prognostication, and all the way through Tuesday of next week, I'm showing a high of 37. It looks like one day they are looking at Saturday a high of 40. So it's going to be chilly.
I'm looking for global warming.
Well, just be happy that you have those fossil fuels to keep you warm, and we have them.
You know, I couldn't understand. I mean, I don't want to pick on TV13 and George Lessons, but okay, they can't get their weather right for 3 days in a row. So why are they doing a 10-day forecast outlook now? I don't get that whole thing. But you know, it was bad enough on 7-day forecast when they get it wrong. Why would you do a 10-day forecast and get it?
Maybe they're like us. I keep wanting throwing stuff up on the wall and see what sticks.
And see, now I heard that weather people will always predict the worst because nobody will blame them if it's better. And so
They'll love them if it's better. Yeah.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Well, that could be.
So
I
there
do
you
know.
go, Jim. There's your key to success right there.
That's right. It's going to be absolutely horrible. Brontosauruses and Tyrannosaurus rexes will be back walking around as it was so many years ago. And hopefully I'll be wrong.
This is back to the 70s with the coming ice age?
With the coming ice age, yes.
There you go.
Hey, this is a big day in history for those of us of the Republican persuasion, and most certainly for those of us who either are or know or care about those who at one point in time were called Black Americans, now African Americans. Who knows whatever the term the politically correct will come up with yet. But today is the day that the first time that the term Republican was utilized in a political party. And I got this from Mike. I stole it from your Facebook post. You want to extrapolate a little bit on that?
I'm kind of stunned. That's what I practiced all morning long on my fake microphone. So it is the founding day, or the organizational day of the Republican Party that began in a conversation over in Ripon, Wisconsin. And the neat part about that is that there are several different places in America, including Michigan, that have a claim to fame with the founding of the party. There was a convention, there was a first meeting, there was an organizational meeting. So there's at least 3 places over the course of the next few weeks that will claim a tie to the GOP. But I got to tell you, also on this day was one of my favorite quotes from General MacArthur, "I shall return."
Which, in fact, he did to the Philippines at one point.
Yep, absolutely he did.
Well, I'm going to return to this Republican Party story.
He's on it.
Hey, I'm on.
Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of stole on that too, didn't he?
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Well, the reason I mentioned this, and in the context of African Americans is that the main reason that the Republican Party was created out of the Whigs and the Free Soilers was because of opposition to the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which essentially was repealed and had at that point kept slavery out of Kansas. In other words, the Republican Party was created as an anti-slavery party. And ultimately, that same year, in July, had their first party convention in Jackson, Michigan. And needless to say, it was fought by many. And the concept of freedom of all people in our country, and certainly anti-slavery was was a concept that was very popular, took over, and ultimately resulted in the Civil War and where we are today. So,
right. Now,
congratulations, Republicans out there.
So, and just to kind of go a couple steps further, there are a lot of people now within the GOP that obviously everyone's aware there's I don't want to say a civil war, but there's a little bit of competition to go on to see which voice will go forward in the GOP and lead it. And the irony is that we're at a crossroads, because when you talk about the black community that used to be significantly leaning into the Republican Party, and of course now they're absolutely opposite of that with the Democrat Party.
Yep.
If the Republican Party goes through this current reinvention of itself and actually re-embraces the founding principles of liberty and freedom, I think the black community will come back to the Republican Party. Because I think everyone that they share my mindset for a pursuit of freedom. But the Republican Party has kind of lost its way over a while. It gets back to that, and it will be what it was.
Well, it has to stand for something. And I think the average person, certainly in the last election, and sadly, I think coming up in these future elections, if you ask the question of a Republican, not just somebody, one of these Leno things, the man on the street, but if you talk to someone who's walking out of a Republican Party county meeting, their monthly meetings that they have, and ask them, what does the Republican Party stand for? I would be willing to bet you that 90% of those folks would be dumbstruck at the concept that a political party stands for something. The Democrat Party, certainly here in Muskegon County, very much stands for something. It stands for union support and prevailing wage and many other union issues that certainly are worthy of debate, but they stand for something. The Republican Party here in West Michigan, and frankly, I would say nationally, doesn't appear to stand for much. At least it hasn't been articulated as such, other than that we're against what the Democrats say.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when we look back at the last two presidential elections, you had McCain, who I called McPain or Obama Light, and you had Romney, who I affectionately referred to as Obamney. And, it's just that we're not offering a decisive choice. Nobody can point to the Democrat Party and say that party is about freedom and liberty. And right now, nobody can point to the Republican Party and say that either.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. And hopefully both parties will sharpen their pencils and address the real issues, which, of course, in this country today we are facing energy shortages, and more importantly, we are totally out of money, and yet spending and spending. But, speaking of totally out of money, last night was the second of these public forums to talk about the Muskegon Farmers Market, the very likely, I'm told, move from where it is in Jackson Hill to downtown Muskegon. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but what I find interesting is the new meme, the new story that is coming out are the people in Jackson Hill who mostly are minorities, but definitely lower income. That particular area is not a high-income area, and both black and white residents and supporters of keeping the farmers market in its current location have been unified in one theme, and that is if you're going to take the farmers market out of where it's been for decades, I believe, and move it to downtown, then you have to give us something. Now, of course, the folks who live in that area didn't build it. The vendors and, of course, the various customers built that farmers market. But once again, we're going to see, as the various speakers in support of the farmers market said, "Oh yes, well we have to get some more federal, state, county, who knows what money to put something in the what will be an empty location." So again, we don't see the Republicans standing tall for this concept. We're going to take something. We're going to move it, which the argument is move it for the betterment of the entire community. But we have to somehow divert other people's money, or actually other people's borrowing power. Younger people will have to pick up the tab to put something else in that Jackson Hill area. But Dave Alexander's been following this at the Chronicle very closely. His reportage, I think, is quite good. And of course, at Eye on Muskegon, we've got the video of the first forum. We do not have the video of last night's forum, which was the residents of Jackson Hill. But stay tuned, because I think this is it's an indication. Muskegon County is no different than most other counties in the United States. These types of things, the quid pro quo, where you are taking one thing and then by virtue of making a move, you must compensate people who really have no financial interest into it. That's the norm. And, of course, getting money from other people who are not even involved in it at all always seems to be the answer. And,
all the money aside, I predict they're going to move it there, and I predict 2 years from now it'll be almost gone.
Well, I hope you're wrong on both, but everything I'm being told is that the decision has been made. It will be moved, and how successful or not successful it will be, certainly time will tell.
Yeah, it's a great example of government making business decisions, and frankly, they're just not qualified.
Well, this isn't even government here, actually. I mean, ultimately, the Muskegon City Council will make a decision. I spoke with a county or a city commissioner at the meeting a couple nights ago, and I asked him about the many, I've been told, certainly more than one, studies that they surveyed the vendors, and they surveyed the customers actually at the location, the current location for the farmers market. And they asked them, do you think moving to downtown with a better and newer area would be a good move? And my understanding, and I've yet to see the study, but my understanding is that it was almost universally turned down, that they liked the current location. And so I'd like to see the study, but the interesting point in my conversation with the city commissioner was, or not the city councilman, was he wasn't aware of any studies. Now, isn't that the classic response from people who don't want you to know what the results of the study were? So anyway.
Well, the good news is that if the city had done the study, nobody would have ever seen it.
Yeah, and the city, I don't believe, did that. There was a group that was representing at that time, and I don't know when this study was done, and I don't know how many there were. But anyway, it would, that would really alleviate an awful lot of the complaints. If the vendors, in fact, want to move, and if the customers want to move, well, good golly, you got apparently private parties willing to pony up $4 million, which, if you think about it, $4 million is an awful lot of money when the land is free. I mean, they're just going to be building generally little stalls.
Right.
That'd be interesting to look into that $4 million and how that's spent. But if it's private money,
is that going to bring more people into the Frauenthal and downtown Muskegon?
As we had
a Holiday Inn, stay at the Holiday Inn and go to the fruit market.
We had a guest last week talking about that on the Talk of Muskegon show, and they were saying, and I think that there's some logic to this, that if you have a very popular event, or in this case, the farmers market, where people will be willing to come out, not just in Muskegon County, but in surrounding areas, and they start getting used to coming downtown, you do get a sense of critical mass. I know how to drive around now. It's not as scary as I might have thought, or what have you. So I believe that's maybe the major driving force. But of course, there are downsides too, which of course is moving it from an area where it's been very popular for years. But
yeah, but they've been doing that too, as far as with the hot rod shows and the motorcycle thing. They brought huge crowds downtown, so it should be. But they didn't move them.
Now. They didn't move them from another location, and of course, this isn't just an event per se. And you're right. They've been very, very successful. But this is a moving of a very successful operation into a new location. It is being strongly opposed by certain groups. Clearly, very strongly supported by those who are making the decisions these days. So
the state of mind is. Okay, almost everybody's against us. Let's do it.
Well, I'd change it a little bit differently. It's much like the new jail. We're going to do it. We're going to have a bunch of forums, so it'll look like we are surveying the taxpayers and the citizens. And when we're done, we're going to say, hey, we've had all these citizen forums and all, and we've done everything right, and here's your new jail. Here is your new farmers market. So that seems to be a very successful recipe.
Well, it worked with Marxist Care, because remember with Marxist Care when they were saying, well, we're worried about what's in it after
you mean
we pass it.
Obamacare? Okay.
That's what I said. Yeah,
there
Marxist Care.
Okay, time for a break, I think. What do you think?
On that happy note.
On that happy note. All right. We'll be right back. We got Ron Van Timmeren today, too, right?
Yes, we do.
When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine?
You look at tribal societies, Aboriginal societies, indigenous societies, or just good social democracies like Sweden or Iceland or Norway or Denmark or France. The bottom line is we care for all of us. I am my brother's keeper and my sister's keeper, and, I don't know. It's not something that's argued or debated.
The Thom Hartmann Program. Catch it weekday evenings at 5 on News Talk 1090 WKBZ.
Is your smartphone naked? It is if it doesn't have the iHeartRadio app on. With the iHeartRadio app, your smartphone can get 1,500 live radio stations. It can make custom music stations. It can even use the Perfect For feature. Perfect for any activity. But without the iHeartRadio app, your smartphone is just, well, naked. Dress it up. Download the free app now at iHeartRadio.com. iHeartRadio is now available on Roku.
May I have your attention, please? If you are trying to lose weight, we need your help. We're AF Plus, and we have too much product and too few participants in our nationwide risk-free trial. If you need to lose 30 pounds or more and would like to participate, call now. 1-800-497-4929. AF Plus is an amazing, proven breakthrough in weight loss. A once-daily capsule that can help you lose weight in days. It's also one of the healthiest ways to lose weight because each capsule contains natural ingredients, including green tea extract. You'll boost your metabolic heart rate, allowing you to shed pounds in days with just one capsule a day. Be among the first to call for your risk-free trial. Again, we have too many risk-free trials and too few participants. If you would like to lose 30 pounds or more by taking just one all-natural capsule a day, call now to participate in this nationwide risk-free trial. 1-800-497-4929. That number again is 1-800-497-4929.
It's the sale Michigan's been waiting for 1 week only. It's Benton Chevrolet Cadillac GMC's gigantic 30th anniversary sale. Both sides of Henry Street are packed wall to wall with vehicles. And right now, get up to 30% off your new car. Trade-in values are at an all-time record high. Buy low and sell high. Get up to 30% off your new car. 0% financing and up to $10,000 in discounts and more. Right now, get a 2013 Chevy Silverado, only $198 a month, plus 2 years free maintenance. Or a 2013 Chevy Cruze, only $79 a month. A huge selection of Chevy Malibus at $109 per month. And Chevy Equinox, just $119 a month. We want and need your trade. And values are at record high levels. Plus, get up to 30% off the price of your new vehicle. Every vehicle sold is backed by the Benton Low Price Guarantee. Only at the Benton Chevrolet Cadillac GMC's anniversary sale. Both sides of Henry Street, Muskegon. The time to buy is now.
Hi, this is Terrence Howard. My mother was the cornerstone of our family. She shaped me as an actor, a musician, as a human being. So when she was diagnosed with colon cancer, it was like our whole family got cancer. And she died when she was only 56, so this is personal. Now, hopefully, my heartbreak is your wake-up call. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cancer killer, but you can prevent this disease. Screening finds precancerous polyps so that they can be removed before they turn into cancer. I've been screened. If you think that you're at an increased risk like I am, ask your doctor when to start screening. And if you're 50 or older, get screened. I don't have my mother anymore, so please, do everything that you can to stay around for yourself and for your family. Screening saves lives.
Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Community Health and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters. If you have gout and think a few attacks a year are all you have to worry about, think again. Fact is, gout can attack silently, even between flares. You may not feel it, but gout's root cause, high uric acid, can allow crystals to continuously form and build up in your joints. Over time, this may lead to attacks in other joints, constant pain, and joint destruction. So don't wait. Get more information at goutinfo.com and talk with your doctor about ways to keep your uric acid at a lower, healthy level.
Now, back to Talk in Muskegon on News Talk 1090 WKBZ, the Talk of Muskegon.
That's me on the trumpet, by the way.
Is that you? Okay, I was...
Yeah, me and Al Hurt. Yeah, we're playing on that.
This is a talented group we have here this morning. We've got Ron Timmerin coming up after the half-hour break. But we do have with us, of course, Mike Hewitt, the proprietor of Renegade River Sporting Goods, and, of course, the fabulous host of Sunday's Renegade River Show from noon to 1 o'clock. But, he's
agreeing with you.
Yes, he is.
First thing he said this morning that made sense.
I know. Well, it's, in my never-ending quest to try to come up with something that makes sense. But I saw...
keep you happy. You carry a gun. So.
There you go.
Well, this has something to do with guns here. I see that Cabela's, which would be a competitor of yours, is moving to Grand Rapids, and I don't want to focus on the Cabela's side of it. But I asked you this morning. I said, "Does Cabela's sell guns?" Because I thought that they did. I know I had been in Cabela's before, and other stores do. But in every article that I have read about Cabela's, it mentions that they sell that they've got an archery range, and they've got a fudge shop, and they've got all sorts of things. There's absolutely no mention in all of this glee, this unabashed, oh my golly, how wonderful things are, do they mention that Cabela's sells those evil guns. So there's your media for you.
Now, the interesting part about that on a competitive level is that, of course, my shop is a small shop. I'm in Spring Lake, but and
you also sell firearms.
I sell firearms. I'm an FFL licensed store. But I sell tents and all kinds of other stuff. I sell a lot of the same products that Cabela's does.
Fudge?
No fudge. Oh. I sell a lot, not all of the same products. Fudge. I'm already huge. If I had fudge, I'd be in real trouble.
That's right.
So, but my point is that the part that will be the most competitive isn't the tents and the parachute cord and those things. It's exactly the firearms and ammo. So that just from one competitor to another, obviously I got to respect what they're doing. They're very successful, but they've also been able to not appear as a gun shop, and they're very much a gun shop.
Yes, and whether you like guns or not, it just, to me, the media really making a big to-do about this, but and talking about the fudge shop, and talking about the archery, and talking about they've got a little apparently a little restaurant in there too, but making absolutely no mention of the fact that they sell firearms. It's indicative of the mindset.
But your last week's show was talked about that though too, as far as you have a certain number of guns, but mainly, like you said, your store is much more than a gun shop.
Yeah, I've got 653 products, and 29 of them happen to be firearm lines. And I think the ratio for Cabela's is really not far removed from that math. They've got a lot more. Each category, I may have 2 or 3 choices of the 653 items, whereas they may have 20 choices of the 653 items. But essentially, other than fudge in a restaurant, we're a lot the same. But if they wrote a story about my shop, it would be about me being a gun shop.
Yes.
When they write about them, they're a fudge shop. So.
Well, it is to me always interesting because we hear, again, all of the local media here talks about how we've got to support our local businesses, which I think is a noble concept, and how wonderful it is, though, to get the national chains in, whether it's a Walmart or a Cabela's or what have you. But once those national chains come in, and all the hoopla is over, and all the radio remotes and things of that sort are done, then they go back to, we've got to support our locals. Of course, unless you're a gun operation, but there seems to be a disconnect. I know there's a psychological term about that, but I'm mentioned this to get involved in this the gun side of the world, because there was an article that I read yesterday where the director of the FBI said that the number of background check requests that the FBI receives from gun dealers has increased from 54,000 each day to a current level of 81,000 each day. So it seems odd to me. I know I recently purchased a gun, and I did shop. I purchased it from Renegade River, and I think I got a good price and certainly great service. But
no fudge.
And did not get fudge.
But I didn't just transfer in from the boat department. I actually knew what I was talking about, so there was a little bit of a plus
yes,
there.
we did have somebody who actually did know what he was talking about. But it seems to me, and I'm wondering, is the Obama administration, or the Senator Dianne Feinstein and the Democrats who are so openly and vocally anti-gun, are they stupid or are they really, really clever? Because since they engaged in this big attack on gun ownership has absolutely exploded. I mean, look at these numbers that the FBI is receiving for background checks from 54,000 to 81,000 every single day.
I don't know Muskegon's numbers, but Ottawa County, just as an example of what we're talking about, went from CPL, the concealed carry license, they went from 135-ish a month into the hundreds per month over the last 6 months. So, but I got to tell you, the flip side of it, one of the things that my eyebrow raises a little bit about, and maybe many of the listeners aren't aware of, is right now there's a huge ammo shortage, and there's a huge, anything that's concealed carry or even remotely tactical looking, there's just, you can't get your hands on it, or people are charging premium prices.
And the federal government has been open about this. This isn't any big secret plot. The federal government has been buying ammo like crazy. One wonders why is the wars are winding down. We are laying people off, if you will, but we're reducing the size of the military. Why does the federal government, just in the last 6 months to a year, why are they increasing their amount of bullets and ammo that they're purchasing?
Right.
I don't know of an answer to that.
And it's not just increasing, just because the math is just so humongous. It's in the billions of rounds. And it's by a whole bunch of departments where you go, really? No one needs that? Do they really? It's just an amazing thing.
It's an unanswered question. I know we're going to take a break shortly. I do want to mention one thing, because I know you had a situation with a credit card supplier. Yesterday, customers of Chase Manhattan Bank, the big Chase, one of the few remaining mega banks that is too big to fail, so even if they are crooked as can be, no one will go to jail. Well, that's what's happened. Yeah. Our government has agreed to that, essentially. But yesterday, they called it an unfortunately timed glitch, which resulted in the checking and savings accounts of 100% of their customers showing zero. So if you went online or you went to a money machine to get money, they showed that you had zero money. Of course, this is going on at the exact same time of the situation out in Europe where Crete, the Denzians, the smart people at the European Union, have said we're going to put a tax on everybody who's got money in the bank. Almost 7% for people under 100,000 euros and almost 10% for those above. So interesting things. They're buying the ammo and they're giving you zero on your balance, folks. What a happy day. We'll be back with Ron Van Timmeren and At the Movies.
Don't pay stupid tax. Listen to the Dave Ramsey Show.
The highest profit center of anything that happens on the new car lot is the car lease, with the exception of the shop. Now, this is according to the auto dealers, National Auto Dealers Association of America, the NADA. The bottom line is you're not getting a deal. You're basically renting the car for enough to pay them interest, a profit, and cover the loss in value while you drive the car.
Catch Dave weekday afternoons from 2 till 5 on News Talk 1090 WKBZ.
Good morning, I'm Derek Francis with this WZZM 13 news update. The Pentagon has banned a type of mortar round following the deaths of several Marines during warfare training in Nevada's high desert. The mortar shell explosion happened Monday night at the Hawthorne Army Depot, killing 8 Marines. Several other soldiers were wounded. Investigators don't know why the blast occurred. President Obama, meanwhile, makes his first visit to Israel today and hopes to repair an alliance strained in his first term. Polls in Israel show that President Obama deeply unpopular with many Israelis who want reassurances from the president that the U.S. is serious about their defense. The Israeli government has urged the U.S. to use military force to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. President Obama says all options are on the table, but diplomacy still has time. And Americans can still expect to see record low borrowing costs in the near future. The Federal Reserve wraps up its two-day meeting today, and experts say policymakers likely don't see a pullback in strategy to keep short-term rates low, even though the economy has already improved. And 19-year-old Gary Miller of Greenville is facing charges after he allegedly tried to have sex with at least one teen he met on the internet. Deputies say Miller was using Facebook and Twitter to exchange explicit messages and pornography. He was arrested while trying to schedule a time to meet with a 14-year-old girl.
Keeping you informed, I'm WZZM 13's Derek Francis on News Talk 1090 WKBZ.
Heads up. Radio Juniper is a new one-hour show every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on News Talk 1090 WKBZ. I think you'll like it, but Wednesday at 9 a.m. is when you watch People's Court. So, here's the solution. Turn the sound down on People's Court and turn the volume up on Radio Juniper. They sync together better than Dark Side of the Moon and Wizard of Oz. It's spooky. Google that reference if you need to, and I'll see you Wednesday on News Talk 1090 WKBZ.
This traffic report is brought to you by Hammer Mill Paper.
Country roads and side streets still have lots of sheet ice. Main roads range from dry to wet with slushy and icy patches. 31 okay in Muskegon, slow in Holland. 24-hour traffic tip line, 830-3111 in the Meyer Traffic Center. I'm Kevin Richards.
Hammer Mill Paper is 99.99% jam-free, guaranteed. Don't you wish traffic was? Hammer Mill. No worries.
It's that time of year again when your lawn is top of mind. So let the experts at Preferred Lawn Care of Muskegon handle it for you. Preferred Lawn Care, 'cause
it's beautiful outside. Hey, it's Erin Andrews, and I made the switch to SK Energy Shots. Why? Because trying to cover every sport in America requires hard work and high energy. So when I need that energy boost to be my best, instead of those chemical-filled sports and energy drinks, I drink SK Energy Shots. SK is a better source of energy, made for people who care about what goes into their bodies. They're made with antioxidants and vitamins, with none of the bad stuff.
SK Energy Shots, voted #1 in energy. Make the switch to a better source of energy today. Available at GNC, CVS, and your local retailers.
Here's the official News Talk 1090 WKBZ forecast. Occasional snow showers today and cold, a high of only 23 with northwest winds 15 to 25 and 1 to 2 inches of accumulation. A lake effect snow advisory starts at noon today, runs till 7 a.m. tomorrow. Snow showers tonight becoming more widely scattered overnight, a low of 22. An inch or less of accumulation, still northwest winds 15 to 25, and snow showers tomorrow at a high of 32. News Talk 1090 is the talk of Muskegon.
Now, back to Talkin' Muskegon on News Talk 1090 WKBZ, the talk of Muskegon.
Oh, there we go. Little Hollywood Nights to start things out. We're going to be talking with Mr. Ron Van Chimmeren. I think you're on the line there, aren't you, Mr. Ron Van Chimmeren?
I am, Oscar. How the heck are you?
Pretty good. You know, we go back 100 years. You know,
no, wait a minute.
Well, 83, I think, is when we first met.
That's 100 years.
You said you had grandchildren. Okay, I don't have any grandchildren, Oscar.
Well, you can borrow mine anytime. So, you know, like I say, we were talking about on the break there a little bit about one of the movies that is coming out, and Selena Gomez. You were surprised that I knew that she was Justin Bieber's old flame.
Yeah, well, really, have they broke up, Oscar? I guess
last I heard, my granddaughter, she's a big Justin Bieber fan. She thinks that she's got a chance now. So.
Oh, yeah, there you go. The Biebs. Yeah, Selena Gomez, Vanessa Hudgens, both of them old Disney movie or TV show actresses, are now in a very R-rated movie called Spring Breakers, which is popping nationally this week and making a lot of news because of its, delinquent debauchery, basically, which is, the storyline of Spring Break, right. With high school and college students going down there to Florida and other places. And, what do they do down there, Oscar? I don't know.
I don't know that. I don't ask that question. So, but now is this kind of like just go on out, kind of like a hangover type movie where they go out and get drunk and party and have a good time and.
Right, and this time they get a little bit more criminal. The setup is the four women, young ladies in this movie, in order to finance their trip to Florida, they rob a chicken shack. Okay, put the ski mask on. They got squirt guns, but they're little criminal terrorists. These girls, and then when they get to Florida, they hook up with James Franco, who's a local drug dealer, arms guy, party boy, and they get in a lot of trouble. Oscar and Jim and Mike, they definitely are going to be very R-rated about things. But all of this has consequences. So this movie has a little message with its action and flesh as well.
Okay, did there kind of like a Thelma and Louise kind of thing happen, or no?
You know what? That's an interesting comparison. I don't know if it quite goes over the edge, so to speak.
So now is Mike Tyson involved anywhere here, or no?
I didn't see Mike Tyson, but you know what? James Franco is doing his best Mike Tyson impersonation, and particularly in the mouth hardware department.
Oh, jeez.
Mouth hardware.
Oh, he's got quite the grill. He's got more gold and silver in his mouth than teeth. So
okay.
We have that here in the studio too.
Right,
We've got
every time I smile,
mouth hardware.
So what is that? All that's coming out this week as far as new movies?
No, there's 4 wide releases this week. Because Mike and I were talking too. He saw Oz. By the way, you liked that movie, Mike?
I did. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, and did you take family or kids or a date or who went with you?
My wife and I went, and she absolutely loved the colors and the flowers, and she oohed and ahed through a good portion of it.
Oh, that was the lady that was bugging me. Okay,
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
It is a very colorful and visually stunning, as they say, and it still was the #1 movie in America this weekend. Again, $40 million plus for it. It's over $150 million in the box office domestically, and twice that overseas. So it's a big international hit. And but did you see a commercial or a trailer for Olympus Has Fallen, Mike? Was that what hooked you on that one?
I did actually. I saw it while I was at the theater, and two things, Ron. First off, on the Oz thing, I've been waiting for that myself for a long time because I loved the concept of telling that part of that old story. I really did. And then, of course, I've got a little bit of a political hat, so I'm excited about seeing Olympus Has Fallen also.
Yeah, Olympus being the code word for the White House, and so the bad guys, who are North Koreans, by the way, they're getting in trouble all over the place these days. It's a terrorist plot to take over the White House and kidnap the president, and you've got Gerard Butler playing the ex-CIA, Secret Service guy who's on the inside, and he's sort of trapped there, and he's sort of like the Die Hard. He's sort of like the Bruce Willis character from Die Hard, inside, while everybody else outside is trying to figure out what's going on, and who's got to save the world. So,
now you just revealed a mystery for me, and I appreciate that because I've watched a number of different trailers on the internet trying to find out who the bad guys were. I couldn't tell if it was a domestic left or a domestic right plot or what. So
I thought there was a law that was passed that required all bad guys had to be South African racists. Wasn't that at least that took over all the Tom Clancy movies?
Yeah, and you can't use the Chinese anymore because they own half of America. We don't make them mad, but
yes, but the Koreans we can go. At least the North Koreans.
Yes. Yeah, they're easy fodder these days. So that actually is rated R and looks like a terrific movie. It's also available in the D-Box seats that we now have at Cinema Carousel and other Celebration Cinema locations. So
what's a D-Box, Ron?
D-Box are the seats that move to the action and even some music, the subtle sway, and sometimes jerking you a little left and a little right. Not too jerky, but it's kind of a little amusement park right there at Cinema Carousel, and in one auditorium for one movie. There's a couple of rows of seats that actually move with the action on the screen.
Very cool.
There's a couple of movies I was going to ask you about. The Call, which was number 2 this week, with Halle Berry. Is that? I mean, it's suspenseful. It looks good. The trailer looked good. It didn't do as well, of course, as Oz. I mean, we're talking $20 million compared to $150 million. Yeah.
Yeah, The Call was actually a surprise at the box office last week, and mostly because it's got two really strong female leads in Halle Berry and Abigail Breslin, and so sometimes the woman in the house makes the decision about what movie they go see, and everybody I've talked to really liked the movie. Once again, suspense, thrill, and some terrific acting.
And then as far as comedies go, Admission Sweepstakes with Tina Ray and
Tina Fey and Paul
Tina
Rudd.
Fey.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
exactly.
King Kong or something. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, Tina Fey.
Fey Ray. That's right. You are a grandfather.
Yeah, I'm old. So is that any good reviews, or it looks funny?
It's getting mixed reviews, but let's face it, Tina Fey and Paul Rudd are terrific comic actors. The storyline revolves around her character playing an admissions officer at Princeton, he playing an alternative school teacher. She comes to recruit kids from his school, come to find out one of the kids is actually a child she gave up for adoption when she was very young, and that turns her world on its head.
Also, right?
What's that?
He happens to be a genius, too, or something like that?
Right. So, yeah, it's an interesting setup, and it is a romantic comedy, and I think it'll fit the bill this weekend fine, although it's some pretty tough competition. It's rated PG-13. The other wide release is The Croods. That's probably the biggest grossing of the new movies, which is the animated family film 2D and 3D version of The Croods, voice work by Emma Stone, Ryan Reynolds, Nicolas Cage. Kind of an Ice Age, from a look and feel standpoint. But apparently, this is covering the Croodaceous period, where a lot of experimental life forms took shape and vanished forever. But so it's a kind of a comedy as well as some drama in The Croods for kids and families this week.
Is it kind of like a like a Shrek type of humor?
That's always what people are going for when they make these movies. Something for the kids, something for the adults.
Okay.
You got the crazy
Bullwinkle,
granny, and she's doing wacky things that kids don't quite get. So
yeah, okay.
How do you rate A Good Day to Die? Or A Good Day to Die Hard, I should say. I'm a big Bruce Willis
so am
fan.
I was going to go see that with the wife, and we didn't go see it.
And it's still there. It's been there for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's probably on its way out. This will be its last week. It did not hit at the box office very well. I saw it actually in D-Box, and unfortunately, it's not available that way anymore. It made an okay movie better when the seats move, for the chase scenes and whatnot. But it was just okay. I mean, if you like the character and especially Bruce Willis, and they introduce his son in this movie, it was okay.
Okay.
You're trying to say that
so
the
DVD
theme
is
itself
to wait
getting
for
a little worn?
Yeah, you know what? And the story wasn't nearly as compelling as the first one, or even some of the sequels. So, it just didn't click as well this time.
And I see one that's still in there too, Jack the Giant Slayer. I really want to go see that with my son. What is that? Any good, or is that something I should do?
Thought it was. I love the special effects when the Giants hit the screen, especially, and they spent a ton of money on this movie, and it really looks fantastic. Bryan Singer directed, who's done all these X-Men movies, and he's a terrific director. I mean, it just didn't hit with audiences and got bulldozed by Oz, but still a very decent alternative if you like Lord of the Rings or Hobbit, those kind of movies, and then you'll like Jack the Giant Slayer.
Okay. Hey, I noticed driving by too. I was looking for, I guess, to end things out, that it says on your board at the Getty Theater, opening in April. And,
April 26th.
And I'm thinking maybe snow on the ground then. Still, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but.
No, there's not going to be snow on the ground April 26th when we open the drive-in. That's for sure. I think I can guarantee that.
The thing about that place is I was saying I loved it because of the reason that I brought my kids there when they were little, and I bring my grandkids there now, when they're little.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice place to kind of grow up with. So.
Yeah, well, thanks, Oscar. You're right, and we wish it could open sooner, but the weather killed us last year when we tried to go too early, so we'll be ready for the summer.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Van Timmer. Ron, you gonna Anything else that you want to talk about?
Well, we got
or did we get
the
everything?
Plaza. Just a quick
the Plaza
update.
is actually opening Lincoln this week, so for just $250 over there, you can see, or $350, or whatever, for a discount price, you can see Lincoln and The Hobbit at the Plaza, and over at the IMAX in Grand Rapids, Oz the Great and Powerful there for one more week until G.I. Joe moves in next week.
Yeah, I read about that too. Yeah,
very cool.
Now, as far as The Hobbit, what did you think of that one, real quick?
Loved it. I'm a big fan of the books, and Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie of all time, so I can't wait until the next Hobbit movie comes out, The Desolation of Smaug, but I've got to wait till Christmas. So anyway.
Okay. Now, the Lincoln movie, of course, that's the last movie I've actually seen, so that's kind of scary. But anyway, okay, so I recommend it, though. Great movie.
All right, guys, see you at the movies.
All right, take care.
See you at the movies. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, so we'll be right back with more. Oop. Let's turn him off, okay?
He's gone, apparently.
He's gone, yeah.
He's gone.
Okay, so we'll be back.
It's about your life and your money. It's the Dave Ramsey Show.
Is this down economy usual in life? Have we had these same times in the past and good ones will come again? Yeah, it's just part of life. Good times do come again, and there is cycles in the economy. So it's the worst recession since the Great Depression. No, it's not. 1982 was worse. We had double-digit inflation, double-digit unemployment, and interest rates on homes were 17%.
Catch Dave weekday afternoons from 2 till 5 on News Talk 1090 WKBZ.
Are you over the age of 25 and need to lose up to 30 pounds or more? If so, the next 60 seconds are crucial to your well-being. Because Sensa is sending 30-day free trials to anyone looking to lose weight simply through portion control, without calorie counting, meal plans, or traditional dieting. To experience effective weight loss results, you must be over 25 and want to lose up to 30 pounds or more. Call 1-800-951-1420 for your free 30-day trial. In a 6-month study, one of the largest of its kind ever conducted, participants lost an average of 30 pounds using Sensa. This weight loss breakthrough does not require added exercise or a change in your lifestyle. But act now. Due to overwhelming demand, there is a strict limit of 1 per household. Again, if you are over 25 and need to lose up to 30 pounds or more, it is crucial that you write down this number for your free 30-day trial of Sensa. Call 1-800-951-1420. That's 1-800-951-1420.
I tried a number of diets, and they were ineffective. And I thought I'd give this a shot. I was able to immediately change my eating habits, have lost 42 pounds.
That's Jim Farini talking about his personal success with a John Morgan Hypnosis Seminar. Like you, Jim knows that diets just don't work.
Your brain eventually overrules you, and you go back to your old weight or even gain more weight. And that had been the pattern in my life for the last 15 years.
Call 800-735-6907. Hypnosis is safe, fun, and effective. Stop smoking forever or lose weight and keep it off.
People aren't even recognizing me in some cases. People are asking me, how did I do this?
Join John Morgan hypnotist Mark Pasnek Thursday, March 28th at the Shoreline Inn and Conference Center, adjacent to the Lake House Restaurant in Muskegon. Smoking cessation is at 6 p.m., weight loss at 8 p.m. Call 800-735-6907 or visit johnmorganseminars.com. Sessions are affordable at $59.95.
I feel fantastic, and I couldn't be happier.
Call 800-735-6907 or visit johnmorganseminars.com. That's johnmorganseminars.com.
News Talk 1090 WKBZ has a great way for you to save money. Up to 70% off on the items you want, like accessories for your man cave, fitness memberships, car care packages, GoPro cameras, and a lot more. Visit bidonwestmichigan.com, check out all the items, and make sure that you register yourself as a bidder. So check out the spring auction right now at bidonwestmichigan.com.
It's the sale Michigan's been waiting for 1 week only. It's Benton Chevrolet Cadillac GMC's gigantic 30th anniversary sale. Both sides of Henry Street are packed wall to wall with vehicles. And right now, get up to 30% off your new car. Trade-in values are at an all-time record high. Buy low and sell high. Get up to 30% off your new car. 0% financing and up to $10,000 in discounts and more. Right now, get a 2013 Chevy Silverado, only $198 a month, plus 2 years free maintenance. Or or a 2013 Chevy Cruze, only $79 a month. A huge selection of Chevy Malibus at $109 per month. And Chevy Equinox, just $119 a month. We want and need your trade, and values are at record high levels. Plus, get up to 30% off the price of your new vehicle. Every vehicle sold is backed by the Benton low price guarantee. Only at the Benton Chevrolet Cadillac GMC's anniversary sale. Both sides of Henry Street, Muskegon. The time to buy is now.
Change your life in a big way.
Well, having a mentor saved me. I did not have a father in the home, and my mother was ill most of the time. And Brent really is a great listener, and he really provided that extra leadership that I needed to really grow and become the person that I became. He's a great big brother.
Volunteer or donate to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Start something. If you have a big experience, share it at bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
Now, back to Talkin' Muskegon on News Talk 1090 WKBZ, the Talk of Muskegon.
And the talk is here.
The talk is here. It is still spring, although you wouldn't know it to look outside, nor would you know it to look at your thermometer, because it's 23 degrees outside. Interesting article I read last night. Of course, China, big country, big bank that we use quite often to raise money. But not only is it the world's most populous country, but they are now utilizing DNA banks to create what is called the world's smartest people. What they're doing is they've gone...
I heard about that yesterday.
They are taking DNA samples from people who have been vetted in any number of ways, people who are universally acclaimed, and not just Chinese, by the way, but as being the smartest people. And they're sequencing the entire genome. Now, this is in the process of right now. But what apparently this is not science fiction in any way. At some point in the not too distant future, that parents will be able to pick from their own genetic makeup. In other words, this isn't test tube babies or stuff. These would be mom and dad would be able to put in their genetic makeup.
Watch how you say that, Jim.
And pick out those combinations that will ultimately produce not only the smartest babies, but apparently it's far easier to produce physical traits like height and width and who knows, eye color and any number of other things. And this, I imagine this is worthy of an entire show, a discussion certainly by people who are smarter than us. But do we want to compete? Does the United States or the West want to compete in a world where the world's most populous country is, in fact, actively going after creating genius upon genius?
You know, Jim, that reminds me of the late 60s with the Star Trek, the original Star Trek series with Ricardo Montalban was an advanced designed person. And, and of course, we've been hearing about that ever since then and even before that. And it's here on our threshold now.
Well, and we can see it firsthand because we all know that those people who we elect, in particular here in Muskegon County, are certainly smarter than us. So do we want to have more people like them? That was a joke. You're supposed to have a little laugh track there. Apparently it's not going to work out.
I didn't get it. So.
I didn't get it either.
Went right over my head.
It was a little joke about the people we elect being smarter than us.
In the final minutes, he's just like when he started off.
I know, we just bombed. We finished the show on a bomb. Okay, well, how about this? How about the gal at, I believe it was Ferris State University, who had a pet gerbil, which apparently was illegal according to dorm rules, and she was forced to, at least the university said you can't have the gerbil in the dorm room. She sued. She just won a $40,000 victory because she found a doctor, and the gerbil was a support animal for her.
I've heard about that, but never a gerbil. But yeah, okay. Like a dog.
I believe it was a gerbil.
So then we're going to be left wondering: is the university faculty more insane than the judiciary, or more insane than the psychiatric industry? It's like a three-way sock race.
Well, apparently, if you've got a little support animal and what we would have considered to be standard normal rules, you can make big money. But, hey, folks, the boys will be back in town tomorrow.
Right.
And
I'll be sleeping.
And Oscar will be Z'd out. I will be at Carmen's. Everyone is invited, by the way, to Carmen's, 8 o'clock. In the morning, we talk Muskegon county politics and national politics.
All right.
Have a great day, folks.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Catch Talkin' Muskegon at its new time, Monday through Friday mornings at 8 on News Talk 1090, WKBZ, the Talk of Muskegon.
This is WKBZ Muskegon and WOOD HD2 Muskegon.
Radio Juniper.
What's that on your chest, mister?
It's a pledge pin, sir.
A pledge pin on your uniform!
Can you imagine if we had these when we were 12?
Even better. We got them when we're 40.
You know what's amazing? They're not that noticeable on your face.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't do that to our pledges. Only we can do that to our pledges.
Radio Juniper.
Dodgers in the 24th and a half century.
We need like some name tags with our picture on it, all laminated and whatnot. I mean,